Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Before we get into today's topic, big news. I'm going to be having Yashu from the YouTube channel Hit That Bid. He's going to be on Thursday. We're going to do a live stream together, 4:30 p.m. You can find the link here if you want to set yourself a reminder. He's a YouTube channel that covers Tesla, so we're going to talk about him. I have some interest in what he does, his background, how he got involved with Tesla, and then we'll just see where the conversation organically goes. I imagine it will be more Tesla topics. So I'm very excited about this. So hope to see you guys there. And a special shout out to our two new Patreon members, Eric Guthrie and Danielle Varghese. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I thank you both for your support. I truly appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. And I will also want to give a special shout out to Danielle's son. We were messaging back and forth, and she was telling me how he watches the channel and how he's an aspiring engineer. So really, really like that we're sharing this message, and hopefully we also help inspire other kids to want to become an engineer. So Aiden, really appreciate it. Hope you keep moving forward and look forward to you becoming an engineer in the future. And if you want to help support the channel, you can find our link to Patreon down below. So let's talk about Q1 earnings set to come out later on today. So as you all know, this has been a bit of a wild quarter. All right, there's been ups and downs. We ended the quarter with Giga Shanghai being closed for 4 days. We had everything that happened to the stock market. A stock split got announced. Elon's offering to buy Twitter. I mean, there's just so much going on. But what about the numbers? Well, Q1 did not look much different than Q4. So you would think that the numbers are going to be fairly similar. But there's other things happening as well, right? We know Giga Berlin opened during Q1. Giga Austin did open, but that was in April, so during Q2. We know that vehicle sales should be higher, right? Average selling price, because we should start recognizing all of the price increases Tesla did over time. But we also know that Berlin needs to be depreciated based on the amount of vehicles that they've delivered, and it's not that many. So the question really is, will earnings look different? Did Tesla actually deliver vehicles to people who purchased FSD first, right? I mean, that could help. The big question from my mind isn't whether or not they're going to hit on revenue. I'm pretty sure revenue is going to be spot on, probably slightly beating what we saw in Q4. But the big question, I think, is margins. All right. Will the fact that Berlin is coming online have a big impact? Will the fact that FSD potentially uptick or them pulling it forward, will that be able to cover it? Will the average selling price going up be able to help offset Berlin margins, right? Or Berlin weighing down on margins. So there's a lot of different things that could happen here. Even more importantly, moving away from that, how do they guide and how they speak about Giga Shanghai, right? Do they sound optimistic about Giga Shanghai, or do they have a somber, kind of more pragmatic and just kind of stoic message to all of us, which maybe freaks out Wall Street? Will Elon Musk be on the call? Will he say something to freak people out? Will we get guidance on Giga Berlin, Giga Austin ramping that is to investors and Wall Street's liking? Will the answers to questions from Wall Street and investors be to the liking of Wall Street and investors? There's a lot of variables going on here, and we don't know which way of the fence any of these will fall. We don't even know if they'll announce when Analyst Day will be. We don't know if they're going to mention anything about the stock split. This is one of those quarters where a couple months ago, you would have thought going into it, it would have been a very predictable, normal Q1 earnings call. But now, there are so many variables that I think that this could just absolutely rock the boat with Tesla. Now, here's something else, though, to think about. Every time, at least for me, every time Tesla stock should react a certain way after an earnings call, a way that I would think would be very predictable. Let me back up. Q4 earnings call. We had Elon Musk on. Elon, record quarter, great numbers, record margin, everything record. Elon Musk gets on. He talks about FSD, 60,000 beta testers. He talks about progress with Optimus, saying it's the most important project they have, right? Just creating this amazing bull thesis with all of these call options and different products that they're going to come out with, right? Talking about the importance of the engineering, how they're just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone. Talking about Tesla insurance, just on and on. I did think that the next day Tesla stock would just be ripping higher. No, not what happened. Quite the opposite, actually. Apparently, Wall Street hated what they heard. and the stock tanked. Well, this time, we're kind of set up almost for the stock that you would think would tank after the earnings. I mean, think about the setup. Elon could be on there. He could say something Wall Street doesn't want to hear. We could find out that Shanghai is coming back online, but it's going to take some time. We could find out that Berlin and Austin are going to ramp a little slower than expected. They won't be at Shanghai speed. We could find out that margins were actually down because of Berlin coming online. Average selling price didn't go up as high as we thought it would. Get no information about the stock split or anything. They just defer it. I mean, you could just go on, right? I mean, this could go on and on. So the fact that this is set up for the potential to be a big sell-off after almost makes me think that the day after will either just be neutral or even positive. And again, the only reason I'm saying this is because whatever would be the most obvious thing for the market to do, it tends to be the opposite. Anyways, my whole point is this is a very unpredictable quarter. I think this is the first Tesla quarter really where it seems like the numbers just don't really matter. It's more about what is said and what is not said. It's more about the tone from Zach and Drew and Elon if he's on the call. It's more about the potential guidance. It's more about them indicating how Berlin and Austin are potentially ramping. It's more about whether or not Shanghai is coming online in a meaningful way and if they have confidence in the rest of the quarter. I think this earnings call is a lot less about Q1 earnings and a lot more about the outlook for the rest of the year. So this is arguably one of the most important quarterly earnings call we've had in quite some time, at least as a stock investor, especially with all of what's going on in the world right now, right? All of the other macro environments. We know the Fed's going to come out on Thursday and speak as well. Who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to start signaling more for a 75 basis rate increase? Are they going to stick to 50? We have Goldman Sachs coming out talking about how this is about to be a bullish period. I mean, everything is just going crazy right now. And then right in the middle of it, smack dab in the middle, we have Tesla earnings call with all these variables going on. Best thing you can do, just enjoy it. We're long-term investors here. We don't really care about the day-to-day. Do we track this so that we're informed investors? Yes, of course we do, because it'd be foolish not to. It wouldn't be doing due diligence, all right? It would be lazy. We have to do our research. We have to stay on top of these things. And if nothing else, it's fun, all right? I mean, it just same way Cyber Rodeo was fun for everyone, right? It's everything that Tesla does is always from an engineering-centric perspective, right? So how they deploy cash, how they decide to talk on these calls. I mean, it seems like everything's always driven from a first principles engineering physics perspective. And so it's important for us to listen and understand what's happening and understand the state today of the business. But don't forget, we're long-term investors here at Investing Against the Grain. So the real focus is on 5, 10, 20 years down the road, which I think we will see amazing returns. So when you're watching the earnings call this evening, don't get too upset. Don't get too excited. Enjoy it for what it is. Listen to the questions being asked. Speaking of that, if you haven't gone on say.com yet and voted for questions that you want asked, please do, right? Your votes matter. On say.com, we get some of the best questions rather than hearing the basic questions that we hear from Wall Street. So go and vote. But my message to you is enjoy this evening. Enjoy it for what it is. Let's listen to see if we get any good insight into what Tesla's doing, how the ramp is going, any interesting engineering insights we hear during the call. Does Drew tell us something about the 4680 batteries? Do we hear more about Tesla insurance? Do we hear about the Cybertruck? Do we hear about how the ramp is going? Right? Those are the things that we should really walk away with. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to leave it there. If you're wondering what I'll be doing, it'll be me, my fiance, on the couch, probably with a glass of wine, watching the earnings call. We enjoy it. It's fun. So enjoy the experience. Set your environment. It'll be fun. And just think about this. In 5, 10 years from now, when we're doing this again for our Q1 earnings call, maybe we look back and we remember this crazy time period when the stock was only at $1,000 a share. And by then, maybe we're looking at a $5,000, $10,000 share stock, right? How wild would that be? Especially after a stock split. Think about that. All right, we're going to leave it there. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. If you guys want to support the channel, you can find our Patreon down below. Also, don't forget, I'll be interviewing Yashu from Hit That Bid Thursday, 4:30 p.m. after market close Eastern time. So if you guys want to tune in, we'd love to have you. All right, love you all. Peace.